welcome back to IB Pro School's YouTube channel. I am Pritha, and today we'll be continuing with uh, the fourth episode of Power BI interview questions. Now, today's topic is calculation groups. Now, what is calculation groups? Calculation groups is, from the name, we can already see that it is talking about a group, which, and that to a calculation, which contains something related to calculation. So the thing is, in this group that we create, we group together a number of measures, right, that are built up on a single pre-built DAX that I have already. I want to know the total sales as well as the contribution of it, contribution percentage of it. On top of that, I want to see it according to different currencies, right? So all of these measures, all of these calculations will need a prime DAX, that is the total sales. So I want the total sales, I want the contribution percentage of the total sales, and now I want to see the total sales in different currencies, right? So how will I do that? Well, I can do that by creating one and single measure, like total sales. Then I can create a measure, different measure for contribution percentage. Then another measure for the, what is it, the to calculate it in currencies, like different currencies, to show the total sales in different currencies. I can create all these measures one by one and put it into my visual one by one. But that is a cumbersome process, and I do not want to do that. So that is why I will use calculation group. So in this visual, what I really want to show at the end is this visual. This is my countries: Australia, Canada, France, Germany, all the countries in my data set. Then there is my total sales, right? And here is my percentage contribution, right? So the percentage, total percentage will be 100. And like here, Australia is contributing to the total 3.7%, Canada is contributing 6.43%, France is contributing 2.17%. So this is the percentage contribution. And here I can see this total sales in different currencies. This is US dollar, this is in pound, Great Britain pound, this is euro, this is Canadian dollar, this is Australian dollar. You can see all these numbers are changing. So now I want to build this visual, right? So how will I do that? First, I will talk about this. Now, total sales. See, total sales, I have my table here of sales. If I see here, here is my total sales table. In my total sales table, I have my order number, line item, order date, delivery date, store key, whatever. Now there is the quantity. Here is my currency code, right? And here in my products table, I have my unit cost and my unit price. So this is my cost price table in US dollar. This is my unit price table in US dollar, right? So if I want to calculate my total sales, the total sales will just use, I have already created it, and here it will be a simple use of SUMX function. In the sales table, I will just multiply quantity from the sales table and the US dollar unit price, US dollar, from the products table. I've used related function over here to bring this over here, right? So this is my total sales measure, right? It is a simple measure. Now comes my contribution percentage, right? In here, to create calculated groups, I need to go into model view, okay? So if I go to model view over here at the very right side, I can see two things. One is tables where I can see all my tables, and another is the model. If I expand this one, the first one is my calculation group, right? So I can create calculation. There are already two calculation group over here, but even if there were none, you would have seen this calculation group. If I just open one, let's say, blank report over here, if I create a blank report over here, and here I go to model view, right? Okay. Here I go over here, go over model view. Here you will see this calculation groups option, which is 0 right now because there are no calculation group. And you can just click on this more options, three dots over here, and create a new calculation group, right? Whenever you create a new calculation group, you will see this dialog box. Here it is said that when you add a calculation group, implicit measures will be discouraged in this model. This means you will need to create explicit measures to aggregate data columns. What this is, right now you don't need to understand, but just click on yes. Okay. And you will see this calculation group thing appear over here, right? Now we'll see one over here. And here you will see a DAX of calculation item equals to selected measure, right? Now what is selected measure? Selected measure is whatever you drop in your values column. Like here, if I go over here and go to my report view and see this table, here I have used calculation, right? This is my calculation group, sales insights, and this is my total sales. So this total sales is my selected measure over here, right? So if I go over here and see this first one in the insights, I have two calculation items. First one is total sales. Total sales is nothing but my selected measure because I've already created my total sales tax, right? This is nothing but the selected measure. Selected measure is whatever you drop in your values. This calculation group will use that measure to calculate all other things. Here, total sales will become whatever you are dropping in your values column. Okay. And percentage contribution, if you go over here, this percentage contribution is nothing but I am dividing selected measure by the total, right? Total of what the total sales that company made in all the country. So here I am calculating the selected measure is my expression and I am using the all selected function over here. The all selected function here, the all selected function over here lets me unselect, drop any kind of filtering that may happen over here. So I'm just using all selected. Okay. So that all the countries' total sales is calculated over here, right? And I'm just multiplying it this whole thing, I am multiplying it by 100 to give me the percentage. Okay. See, this is the divide function over here, divide function. I am dividing this selected measure by the total sales I made in all the countries, with all the countries selected, and then I'm multiplying it by 100 to get the percentage, right? And then I'm rounding it off to 2 decimal places, right? So this is my percentage contribution. And here this selected measure is again nothing but whatever I drop in my values. Okay. So here it will be total sales, right? So now you will see here, if I just try to build this one once again, you will see that. So I will have my countries from source table, right? I'll have my countries from my source table. I'm selecting a measure over here and dropping the, this is the table, I need a matrix. I am dropping the rows to be countries. Then in the values, I will just drop total sales from my sales team, right? Right now, it will just show me total sales, okay? And now, what I will do is, I will drop this one, this calculated group. The sales inside, I will drop it in my columns. And if I do that, you will see I have now my total sales and percentage contribution. Now this calculated group has only 2 measures. You can add as many measures as you want, right? Now we will see this thing shortly in my next calculated group, which is my currency. Here I am using the conversion, right? So if I go here, I have one table called exchange rate, right? So in exchange rates table, what I have is, I have date, I have currency, whatever currency I have over here. So I have Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, euro, Great Britain pound, and US dollar. Okay. And now here I have my exchange rates. So everything is based on the US dollar. So here you will see all US dollar is 1. Okay. And as you go on, you will have all the other conversion. But keep one thing in mind, this exchange is segregated by different dates. This is not fixed. Okay. In one date, if you will see here, if I just select anything other than, I'm just selecting Australian dollar over here, and we will see the exchange value is different for different dates, right? So now here I will create my conversion. So first I'm calculating for the US dollar. Here again, this is my selected measure. Again, the selected measure is my total sales measure that I have already created in the front. Okay. Now I'm multiplying it by this calculate function, which is nothing but I am averaging the exchange rates, right? Here, as you saw here, this is the exchange column. In here, everything is different for different dates. So I am taking an average over here, right? So I'm taking an average of my exchange column, and then I am saying this is for only the US dollar, right? So here the exchange rate of currency equals to US dollar. Okay. Now I've done the same thing for all the different currencies that I have, but this time I've rounded it off to 2 because I do not want to see so many decimal places. Just 2 would be enough. Okay. I have not done it for US dollar because it is just in 1, so I do not need it. So for the rest of them, I have just rounded it off to 2 decimal places. Okay. So this is my exchange conversion, right? Now, after making this, what I did here is I did not put it in a table, right? Here I am creating a slicer out of it. Okay. So this is my slicer. In this slicer, I will just drop this conversions. Okay. So now here you will see all of them are now here in the form of a slicer. Now I have my dynamic. So here I'm putting the conversion in my slicer, right? So now I have all of them here. And if I click on US dollar, I will have it in US dollar. If I want it in pound, I will want see it in pounds, euro, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, so on and so forth. Okay. So the main use of calculated groups can be seen in this one, right? Now, if I did not create a calculated group for it, I wouldn't have been able to make this slicer, right? Slicer for my conversion, right? So here, if I had just put a column from here, let's say here, I'm just putting another one over here. And this time I will just drop it from my exchanges. Okay, exchange rate. I'm dropping the currency. Here also I'll get the same currency, but this time you will see one difference. Okay, I'm just pulling it up. Okay, and here if you see, if I click on this, will show it like this. Is not the thing that I want. So this is where my calculated groups comes in, and here, since I have already built it up on my total sales, right? So this will now show me the correct visual that I want to see. Okay. Now instead of putting it over here, I could have built another visual over here. Another visual over here with again the countries. I'm using again the countries column over here. The rows, my values would still be total sales, right? And now instead of putting inside here, I could have put my conversion, right? I have worked the same way. Here you can see now I have my have my table with all the different currencies and their conversions for the total sales, right? So this is how you can use calculated groups. So calculated groups can be made from the module view. We go to calculation groups under the model in data. And here, from here, by clicking the three dots, we create the new calculation group, right? We create the new calculation groups, and then we just create one calculation item at a time, right? So whenever you go here, you will see this one calculation item, right? If I just leave it like this, here you will see one calculation item has been made. And now I can build multiple on them, okay? Here, if you go in this calculation item, here you will see you can create a new calculation item, right? You can click it from here, or you can create another one from here. And you can rename it as well from here, okay? Whatever name you want to give, it will be that only, okay? You can just change this one, okay? So this is all about calculation groups, how we can use calculation groups in our visuals to create more dynamic and interactive visuals. I hope you will use calculation groups more in the future and build more interesting and dynamic visuals. So this is all about calculation groups. Thank you, and we will meet again in our next episode.